Hey, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Overtime Thoughts Podcast, episode number 4. If you haven't already, hit like, subscribe, share with everybody you know. And yeah, let's not waste any time and get right into this episode. How I became a father. Again, obviously give context. Don't get your mind in the gutter. I started to date my fiance, Zoe. We started dating February 21st, 2022. Technically was the exact date because we just let me see, make sure. It just last month, like about a month and 10 days ago, we celebrated 3 years being together. We're engaged now. Proposed to her when we were in Tennessee back in 2022 in September of 2022. If anybody's ever seen the video, I'm sorry, but I had the box the wrong way facing me. I was nervous, and so whatever, it was different. She still said yes somehow, for some reason, and it was like a couple months later that like we're all adults on this thing, man. I mean, I can say that I'm not gonna be vulgar and say like super graphic things. I mean, even though, like I said, we're adults, but Zoe hadn't had women that are listening and watching this know what I mean by everything once every month. What happens? Well, she was like that time was like super exact, like it never was late by a day. Things were like exactly the same every month. She said. So it was like a couple of days she was late. I'm like, okay, looks a little odd. I mean, didn't really think anything of it because I wasn't oblivious, wasn't dumb, just a couple of days because it's like she had switched medicine or something. So it was like some things could happen. It's like, okay. It was like at the time, like I said, we're all adults. Like if you're a kid listening to this, it's not for kids, technically. So it's like, if you're a kid hearing this is just educational. So I'm not being weird. Well, I am, but I'm weird. But anyway. And we were super smart about it because, there's birth control, there's protection for a guy, it's like, I don't give a shit. The word condom, that's fine. Had those. She had the birth control. We were smart. We weren't ready for kids. It wasn't like we were stupid or irresponsible or super immature or anything. We just, at the time, the relationship wasn't brand new, but it was pretty new because it wasn't even a year old relationship yet. But we were, we loved each other already. We were serious. We were trusting with each other. We were super happy. I hadn't felt like that before. And she hadn't felt like that before either. So not being weird or dramatic about that. Just saying. And so, like I said, I didn't really think anything because, I use protection, and we're careful and safe, but I guess not safe enough because the protection I had seemed be about as useful as the Cincinnati Bengals off the line for Joe Burrow. So, no disrespect to Bengals fans. You know what I'm saying. Don't even try to argue because I'm a Cowboys fan, so I can relate to some bullshit. But that's about how useful that protection was. Sorry, love Joe Burrow. Sorry, Bengals fans, but I'm just saying that's just all for jokes. And it was in November. It was like right after my birthday, actually. My birthday's November 6th. Yeah, I'm old. And I was we were in my bedroom. She had woken up because a couple of days before, like I said, we were starting to get kind of concerned, kind of like whatever, just for the hell of it, get like 2 or 3 pregnancy tests, like just to make sure. Took one at like night, which I think we saw and heard and whatever that you're supposed to take in the morning because that's the best results. But you got 2 giddy and everything. And first test was negative, but it was like the line was a little bit faded. I couldn't tell. Took a second one that morning, and it wasn't like it was one of those ones where it didn't show the lines. It was like it said the word and it like it glitched out. We got like a defective one. But they didn't say not pregnant. Didn't say pregnant. Didn't say anything. It just kind of had a black line. It didn't do anything. So we got like, okay, get a third one. And we spent a little bit more on this one because it was like the clear blue or first one. The priciest one. And we got the one. It had just one and it was like $10, whatever. It was a digital one that said pregnant. And Got up the next morning, she took it, and she had a hoodie on, so she caught a kangaroo pouch. She put it in her hoodie pocket, and she walked to my dad. We were all living together at the time, just whatever. And she walked in and had this like, wasn't like, here you go. It's like kind of like, I'm not making fun obviously of her at all, but just that's how she was. She walked in really timid, like really like shy and awkward looking. I was like, hey, honey, what's wrong? I was like, did you take the test? And I was like, were you able to take it? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, well, what did it say? And she didn't say anything. She just handed me the stick. I'm like, ew, no, I'm kidding. She handed me the stick, and I'm like, and it said pregnant. And then she's like, here's another one that I took yesterday morning that actually worked. That it just didn't tell you. You know, that's what she said after she stopped crying and everything. It was emotional, man. It really was. And she handed me the test, and or both of them, they said pregnant. One said plus, you know, there was non-digital one. And she handed me was crying. I'm like, does that say pregnant? Is that positive? Both of them? And she's like, so her head didn't say anything. Was crying. Like, why? I was like, are you crying because you're happy? Why are you crying? It's like, are you gonna leave? I'm like, are you out of your mind? No. Hey, I said before, guys. We weren't ready for kids. You know, we weren't planning on. We weren't preparing. We were safe, like I said. Had Cincinnati Bengals type condom and all that stuff. So whatever. But I'm sorry. And all that. But we weren't. So like we weren't planning. We weren't pissed about the result. Obviously, you know, because it's a beautiful thing. Obviously, looking at it now. But it's like, I thought you were gonna leave. I'm like, why would I leave? But yeah, we weren't ready. We weren't planning. We weren't, you know, all this. It wasn't a planned thing. But I'm an actual grown man. I'm not gonna just walk out, even if I'm like not ready. Like I said before, I'm not gonna walk out and leave. It's like it's the blessing in disguise. Like, because her and I weren't having problems. It was like I said, it was a new relationship. We were super happy, but had problems with depression like separately. You know, that's why we matched so well because we could talk about those things and we dealt with these things and we could relate a lot. Like we kind of needed something, it felt like, in life to help get us over that mental hump a little bit. And it was like, boom, that was what it was. I mean, I'm not being melodramatic about it. I'm just saying, like, with our luck and everything going on, that seemed something that helped us get over the little hump like that. And when she told me that, I kind of, like I said, out of your mind. But I looked at him like, I'm like, Zoe, really? I mean, I wasn't saying she was accusing me of anything because, I mean, like, also not to be melodramatic about this, but she's been through stuff, man. I mean, everybody has. I know. I'm not trying to say that she's been through more than everybody, and I'm not saying I have been. But, you know, she's been through stuff in her childhood and with relationships like I have and everything, and it was kind of like, that was a big thing, obviously. I mean, you're going to have a kid. But she was super scared that I was going to. I was like, Zoe, even if we weren't in love and we didn't love each other, weren't together, like say we just broke up like a week before and you called me and said you were pregnant, I'd still be a father. You know, I'd still be a dad to our kid, even if we weren't together, because that'd be a little rough on her because, you know, split household, you know, stuff like that. But Anna wouldn't deserve that, regardless if we're together or not. And it's like I was shocked just because, like I said, wasn't planning on it, wasn't expecting. But I found myself super happy. I was like, can she be born now? I mean, obviously can't, but it's like I was already super excited. I was like, because my mom, my dad, everybody was like, you're gonna be a dad. I'm like, no, I'm already a dad. I know that like you're a dad to be, your mom to be, but as soon as you find out that, like said, you know, before, like when I found out Zoe was pregnant, like I'm a dad now. Yeah, Anna's not here. You know, she's not even like 7 weeks pregnant. But I love to think, you know, that you call it a being inside her belly already more than anything in life itself. And I thought it was insane that Zoe, you know, thought I was like, you're going to leave, just because I was so shocked and astonished and like happy by the fact that she was pregnant. And it was like the exact opposite of what she thought I'd be like. And real quick, I'll say this and then I'll get back to it. The kids are the best things ever. Like they're the best pain in the ass ever. If you're a parent, you can relate to that. Hallelujah. But anyway, so we found out, and the first person to know what I think was technically my mom, because she was already suspecting things. I said, "Oh, it was always a couple days late," because I told my dad to, and he's like, "I guess it's a woman thing, maybe, that kind of have a telekinesis or like, or no, shit, what's the word? Kind of like a psychic thing, whatever the term is. If you can comment and say whatever the actual term is, but you know, she was kind of like sensing it already, like, something's up." So I called her and I messaged her and said, so took the test at and I called her and said, we said and a smiley face. And I called her and said, she is. And she's like, oh my God, I'm gonna be a grandma. So then the best person I want to tell, and I don't want to go into grave detail because it's not my place, but there's certain people and I hate this, for people that can't have kids, what's the word? Sterile or infertile, I think it's the word. They're not physically able to have kids. And I hate that, man, because there's so many people in this world deserving one person I'm going to hint at, but I'm not going to say, that really deserve it because they're great to my daughter. But I want to tell this person because it meant that was the closest thing she could have to having her own kid was, So if she's seeing this, she knows what I'm saying now. So, but we told my dad, because we went out to the store and we got, like, we didn't know if it was a boy or girl yet. It was way too early and soon. We got this little toddler outfit that it was like 3 or 4T. I mean, we didn't look. We just saw that said toddler and ran the Dollar General and got it. And went back to my house, and my dad was awake. I was like, "Oh, well, you need to go get some stuff from the store real quick." I was like, "Okay, I'll be right back." Oh, I love you, all that. He didn't really know anything because he just woken up, so he really didn't know what was going on. And went to the store, got that, came back, took the bag in. I think he was in the bathroom, thankfully, because so he didn't see what we're in the kitchen or something, so he didn't know what we were doing. Took it out, took the pregnancy test, and put on the back of it. And taped, like I said, taped the pregnancy test to the back of it. Walked in, I was like, "Hey, Dad, got you something." Like, "What is it?" It was in a gift bag, and he opened it. Like, "What the hell is this?" And he's like, "Why'd you give me this?" He was kind of like confused, because like I said, he was kind of half asleep, it seemed like. And I was like, "What's this for?" And I was like, "Well, turn around." He's like, "What in the world?" He's like, "Troy, what in the world?" He's like, he looked at Zoe and was like, looked back at me and was like, "All right, which one's pregnant?" No. And he was like, "Really?" Like, he wasn't saying and being mad or anything. He was like he's happy, he's smiling. He's like, "Really?" I said, "Yeah." He was like, and the first things he did was he said, "Zoe, come here," and he gave her like a big hug, and Zoe cried again. I was like, "Oh my God, Zoe! If anywhere needed water, you could just cry and help with that right now." But and then he hugged me and he's like, "Congratulations, guys! Like, this is awesome." Then I'm going to go and say, we wanted to really tell my sister because she's the one that I feel for certain things. But she was working, and we went up there, and she was on her lunch break, which thankfully where she worked at, she had an hour. We walked into the little foyer area where there's like claw machines, riding scooter things in the middle, right there when you walk in the sliding doors, and walked. And I think Zoe went to the bathroom, was coming down the little walkway, down the front of Walmart, inside, and walked to the foyer. And she was coming into that spot where my sister and I were at, and said, or I messaged her, like, "Are you working?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, I gotta tell you something. I got some good, cool news." It's like, "Oh Lord, what?" And I was like, "I'll tell you in a minute." Got there, like, "You're gonna be an aunt," and she's like, "It's like," and it wasn't. Oh man, I love her. It was so funny. It was awesome. It was wholesome and everything. And it wasn't like, "Oh man, really?" Or like, "Troy, are you sure?" Whatever. It's like I knew it. Like, what? What? You didn't know shit. It's like, "Nah, I talked to Mom about it, Troy. Don't play with that." Like, okay, how'd you know it? I was like, I put pieces together. My sister, I tell her she's an idiot or dummy and everything, but she's smart. She's clever. And like, "Yeah, you're gonna be an aunt." And then she started crying and hugged us. I was like, "Oh my God. Is there anybody not crying?" I mean, I don't cry. Like I said, when I found out The few biggest times, like the other couple times I cried were bad things. Was when my papo died, and when a family dog of mine who I was super close to died. Cried over that dog, and oh, God, I won't even get into that. I'll tell that story another time. And then when we found out that Zoe was pregnant with our daughter, like, oh man, everybody's gonna flood this place with all their tears and stuff. I'm like, holy shit. And it was like, this thing is, it's the best thing ever. And now she's almost 2 years old this July. She'll be 2 years old. And man, I'm telling you, if you don't have kids, if you're not able to, I'm sorry. I really hate that. If you have kids, you can relate that they're like the best pain in the ass ever. And that's the best thing of like getting off work after, even if it's a 4 or 5 hour shift or a 20-hour shift. God forbid. I'm sorry. I respect. I'll props to you for handling that. Getting home from work, having your kid, your own child greet you, like run to you. Because how our place is set, we live in this apartment, like there's steps that walk from outside door, which is the weirdest door ever. Walk up all these steps, and there's a baby gate because she can walk up down the steps just fine. But just be safe for nighttime and stuff. I'll walk up the steps, and as soon as I like turn the light on, I've shut the door. You hear dad, 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 dad. Like she's screaming, not in a bad way. I mean, like she's happy screaming. And if Zoe's home, or obviously if she's home, if Anna's here, Zoe is definitely home. Watch that. Or if I'm picking up from my mom's, my dad's, or wherever, first thing she does as soon as that door opens and she sees me, she says, "I help with everybody else. I'm running to dad." And that is like, dude, that is like the best thing ever. Not even trying to be melodramatic about that and everything, but it's just, I love it. Or like she's in this phase now where Zoe and I are sleeping. It'll be like 3 a.m. She'll get up and won't even make a fuss about it. Except last night, it was insane. Slept like 2 hours. Wouldn't change it for the world though. She'll get in bed on Zoe's side and won't even make a noise or do anything. She'll just because I'll wake up at like 9 a.m. or whatever time, usually like 7 or 8 because I'm used to getting up early. And she'll just be laying there and Zoe will be like, "Hey, look." I'm like man. And it's obviously especially a day I have to work. I'm like, man, don't want to sound lazy, but I don't want to get up out of this bed. Just lay here all day and just appreciate how perfect she is. And that's like what I do now. That's why like I chose to do, I guess, doing this podcast and like anything I do is like she's like, oh, I just want to make her proud. I mean, she's young, but I want her to look back when she gets older and be like, Dad did what he wanted to do. That's what I'm doing. So I mean, yes, I won't be too melodramatic in this one, but I just wanted. I was telling how I became a father, but just say like how special it is to be a parent, and Zoe being crazy like that. Just say like, what? I thought you were gonna leave. Ain't that stupid? I mean, I'm dumb, but I'm not that stupid. So if you don't have kids but you want to, I promise it's the best thing ever. It's stressful, it's tough, it can get irritating and be hard and stuff, but it's all worth it. Like you'll look back one day and be like, I'm really, really glad I did that. And I promise you won't regret it. But let's get out of the melodramatic serious stuff. You'll get to see Anna soon enough. Due to bedtime and all that stuff. She's I'm recording this is like, I think, what time is it? Almost 11 p.m. So hope I don't get kicked out for doing this so loud and so late. But it's okay. I will have a picture as probably the thumbnail, I think, of this video. That'll probably be Anna and myself because we were doing funny things like recording earlier and everything. And she wanted to take pictures and stuff. So I might just say the hell with it, just add the picture. So, yeah, guys, let's get into some. I was going to talk about baseball, but there's still a bunch of games going on while I'm recording this, and it'll be earlier today and tomorrow that there will be some games. So obviously, the Yankees are kicking ass. All these home runs and the new bats and stuff. So, but I won't get too much into that. I just want to touch base real quick, like how awesome it is to have baseball back. But I got, see, I will tell a funny story real quick about a job that I worked at a hotel. Won't be long. My brother, he's not really my brother by blood, but he's literally like a brother to me. He'll be on with me next week. We'll talk more about this job, but I want to tell this one story where I think it's super super funny. It was traumatizing, but and yeah, let's just. I'm not gonna waste some more time and just we'll get right into the story, and I hope you maybe can relate. Maybe you think it's dumb. Maybe you think it's funny, but I just think it's something I want to just put out there and just see what y'all think. So yeah. So I worked at this hotel job. I'm not gonna say the name of the hotel, but I worked at a 3 to 11 shift, 3 p.m. to 11 p.m. And I was actually working. I think it was either 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. already, or 8 to 4. But I was lowest person in seniority list of the day. So when somebody called in for that shift, I had to cover. Like I had no choice. I said it was what you call it other jobs called being frozen. And I was walking the halls. That's basically what I did was walk the halls, make sure the halls near the guest rooms were clean, run orders, like take certain things like towels, like combs, toothbrushes, call them toiletries, I think we call them. Stuff like that, or amenities, I mean. And I was walking the hall because I had literally one order all day so far. And I got a second order, but it was like right before my shift ended. I love it. But it was like 6, 7 o'clock, and coworker of mine, because there's a golf club that's down at the bottom of the property at the hotel, and they had shut down everything because it was so slow, so dead, not busy at all. And he came up to me. We were just walking the halls, just killing time because it'd been forever since my first order came like 5-10 minutes in after I clocked in for my shift or started that part of the shift. And walking the halls, and we walking down, and it was like this one door, like general area. I heard and then I was like, what the hell? Because it kind of sounded like on here, when you guys are watching and listen to it, it sounds a lot louder and stuff. But it was super subtle. And like, dude, Gary, what was that, man? And he's like, I don't know, because he was kind of down the other side, so he didn't really hear it at all. But I got closer and closer, and I started hearing like noises, and the noise I just made, like, we're getting louder. And I put my ear to the door, and I was like, Gary, look down the hallway. And I was like, hey. He's like, what? It's like, man, they just. He's like, what? Like, yeah, there is people in this room. No shame about it. They just straight up. And the thing is, like, how close I am to the mic now, like this, is how close I was to the door. I said it like kind of that loud, and so thankfully there was like a employee only door, like a few feet down, like about 50 feet down the hallway. Turned to the right, and all I heard was like they had like got up off the bed or something, and I heard the door open, and I was like, what the hell was that? And I was like, oh my god, that does not sound like a 20-year-old. That sounds like, and no respect to the elderly, this is all for jokes. So nobody please kick my ass for this. But I looked back and I could tell by the face it was like an 80-year-old man. So I started walking down the hallway like I was, like, oh crap, I said a little bit too loud. I was like, okay, whatever, didn't think anything of it. Walked down the hallway, the others passed the room, and I heard the door open again. I was he's like, sir, was that you yelling that? And before I turned around, I said, I'm sorry, what? I'm like, said what? He said, I heard somebody say that we were doing something. Like there's some guests that were walking down the hallway. They might have joked. Maybe they thought they knew you or something and said it. He's like, oh, okay. Then he came back out. He's like, I think he asked about what time a certain place for dinner closed. And when I turned back, dude, I'm not kidding. This man had no shame. He was like 80 plus years old. Like I said, it's all jokes. No disrespect to the elderly. Just all for a story. It really happened, but it's no bad thing. No offense to them. They were 80 plus years old, and he walked out butt ass naked. asked me this in the middle of the hallway. I think he might have been drunk or high, both. I don't know. He wasn't right, man. He was like, they had a good time at the casino or something, and then came back and partied and did whatever. I mean, all respect, being 80 plus years old, still doing that. I'm 27. I can barely keep up with stuff. But walked, said that. I was like, I'm like, yes, sir. They close at 9 o'clock. He's like, oh, thank you. That he tried to hand me a tip or something. I was like, no, you're good, sir. I gotta go. I can't take that. I'm not allowed to. That's kind of a lie because I can. He's like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. I was like, that's okay. And I walked back. And I was like, God, no, why? And I'm like, people are gonna. I mean, adults do that. So I'm not saying that, but it's like not expected at all at work. I'm like, I should expect that because where I worked at, but my coworker, I think the funniest thing was like we went down to the cafeteria for our lunch break and stuff, and I was like, my brother Rod, like I'm talking about to be on next week, was like, Troy, are you gonna eat? I'm like, no, because he called me actually. He called me on our work phone. Like, hey, Troy, you gonna come down to the cafeteria? Like, yeah. He's like, you gonna eat? No. He's like, so you're not gonna come down? I was like, no, I'll come down. I'm not gonna eat anything. He's like, okay, why? I'm like, I'll tell you in a minute. Told him, and him and that same guy I was with laughed their ass off, man. I was like, so you had fun time going down the hallway? I'm like, brothers, it wasn't fun when I saw his ass naked. It was kind of like seeing a grandparent naked. I'm like, I never want to see that again. I said, no offense, no disrespect to them, but it's like, and another thing, they're complete strangers. That's the biggest thing. It's kind of like seeing an older person around. It's like, oh, you're seeing a grandparent. But it's really like, it's a complete stranger. It's like, I don't want to see strangers naked, man. Especially not when I'm working. I mean, it's just like, that's whatever y'all do in your room is fine. But please don't come out in the hallway naked trying to give me money. I'm like, that's just really, really awkward. Like, I take the money. Maybe I should have taken the money, just did this and been blind. Like, okay, sorry, thank you. No, thank you, but no, thank you. And yeah, I'm not gonna tell any more stories from that hotel because Ryan and I will talk about that next week, I believe. Brother, if you're watching this, correct me when you see me or message me. Just if I'm wrong, if on the date, just tell me. But yeah, next few weeks we're gonna have some people on. I think episode 10, 20. I think I maybe mentioned this last time. No, I didn't actually. I haven't mentioned. Okay, I haven't got to that point yet. Thank God. Zoe was gonna be on this episode. I think maybe, but we decided that because I had some more stuff to talk about this one. Then so episode 10 she'll be on. Then episode 20, and it's an also cool. This is also a cool thing. She's gonna help, kind of behind the scenes, like manage the schedule, like when I upload things, like podcasts, maybe some other content for YouTube, scheduling things, marketing, media, social media stuff. She's gonna help with that, so I really appreciate that. Ryan will be on next week. The week after that, I'm thinking I gotta look at my phone again. It'll be April 1st, only when it comes out. So Ryan will be on. It'll be released April 8th, and then April 15th. I'm gonna have a guy that I believe either that or the 20th, where we talk. He's actually a volunteer for a NASCAR company and stuff, and I know nothing about it. So I've been trying to do my research, man. So when he gets on here out in the next few coming weeks, I'll hopefully know a little bit more. But he'll be talking about what it's like to work for them and what it's like first person view of it. And I mean, it sounds fun. I mean, I just don't know a lot about it. So can't wait to have all these people coming up next few weeks, man. Having them on here. They're people that mean a lot to me. They're people that are really close to, especially Zoe and Rye. But yeah, like I said, Rye next week. The week after that, I'm thinking it's the one guy, Gabe, is the name. And Zoe will be on by episode 10, I believe, and then 20, so forth, so on. I have another buddy of mine who's a big Western Mountaineers fan, like I have been my whole life. Something that y'all don't know about, really. Because I talk about the Cowboys and then baseball and then some basketball. That's it. I really don't talk about college too much, even though I like it. Just it's underrated, but it's something I don't really talk about a lot. He'll be on it next month or two, I think, maybe a little bit later on. But it's people that mean a lot to me, like I said, especially Zoe and Rye. And I appreciate them and people that have listened to me so far. I appreciate you. I know this podcast kind of sucks so far, but when I introduced myself, like a few weeks ago, it's basically like a big group chat. It's like a big FaceTime call. It's like how I referred it to before I started episode 1. I mean, it's to have fun. It's just talk about random things. Like I said, I'd be talking about sports, and it hasn't been as much about sports just because I kind of like to make episodes all about sports when I do talk about them. But I just talk about random things. Just I don't write anything. I write like only thing writing down wise I do is like the time. When I make the videos and upload them, I put like timestamps like for the intro, what's what I'm talking about, where it ends, and everything. That's about all I do. It's not scripted. It's like I hit record and I say like, what am I going to talk about? Then I go. I mean, that's the best way to do it. It's fun, and I love doing this. I used to do music, and I stopped doing it because of this, and I don't regret it at all. I mean, no, like all respect to people that are like on TikTok, independent music artists, people that I still listen to, all respect to them, but just something I wasn't meant to do. I mean, I'll talk about that probably maybe next week or the week after. Probably be on one of the episodes that is just me, maybe with Zoe, because she knows what I've been through with that stuff, and Rye has. So we'll see. Like I said, it's not scripted, so we'll just see what happens in the future. Like I said, yeah, if you've been through all the episodes so far, I appreciate you so much. I'm sorry this probably sucks so far. That's okay. We can suck together. It's fine. We're weirdos. We're people that like to have fun. We're people that like to talk about random stuff, and no regrets. And yeah, maybe you'll hope maybe next week or very soon. Like I said, the thumbnail picture will probably be Anna and myself, just because I thought it was cute picture when we were recording earlier. But you'll see her on video soon. Just she really wanted to say hi to the camera and stuff. So but like I said, certain things with scheduling like bedtime and all that stuff tonight. She wasn't on yet, but like I said, appreciate you guys. And let's see. And announcements. I don't think there's anything really crazy coming up. Like every other video, there will be links below for my Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, all that stuff below in the description. But this has been episode number 4, and and let's see. I wish I could end this episode with a dad joke or pun, but yeah, I guess I'm not going to. Well, I guess I'm just gonna wrap this thing up and we'll talk about that stuff later, and maybe next week I'll come up with another one. And before I go, if you know why a golf player takes an extra pair of pants with them, just in case he gets a hole in one. All right, like, subscribe, share with everybody know, and thank you, and I appreciate the hell out of you, and I'll see you next time.